Hello, Reformers, and welcome back to Prophecy of Pendor. Now, when we left off, we had just defeated the Dread Legion and Maltese finally, and we had the opportunity, upon capturing her, to select between a Qualis gem and some special armor, as well as 100,000 dinars. And we decided to go for the Qualis gem because, of course, we do want to get an additional, well, shall we say, chapter of our Earl Grey Knights. They are going to be very, very good, of course. Now, if we take a look here, of course, I still have the same exact army as we did last time, because I would like to head on rather fast down to Sez, so that we can actually try and take that before it is actually, shall we say, reinforced a little bit. I'm pretty sure they're going to try and reinforce it, but nevertheless, I am now here at Castle Alden because I decided, you know what, I'm going to go to Marlian's. I actually stopped by to Marlian's, and then I realized, oh, you know what? I don't actually own this, so I couldn't speak to the steward there, and as a result, I couldn't actually make a knighthood order there. Or at least, as far as I'm aware, you can't make it there anyway. But, yeah, the point is, oh yes, also, some of you did actually mention that the armor that you gain from Maltese is, what is it, 61 body armor and 20 leg armor? Well, I mean, we already have this. So I don't know why I would choose that over a Qualis gem, but I don't know. Maybe you guys thought it was a little bit better than what I had. I have no idea. But whatever the case, I have actually, as you can see, gained a couple of baggage trains here because we are going to need the food, that is for sure. We're going to go on quite an extended sieging spree, perhaps. So, let us head into the castle because, well, this is the only other place that is actually rather nearby. And I didn't really want to dismantle the knighthood order at Poinsbrook. So, without further ado, let's create a chapter of a knighthood order. Yes, here we go. Create Earl Grey. We're going to need some lemons and some milk for that, of course. Okay, so yes, let's just create Earl Grey. Thank you very much. There we are. That is 20,000, and the Qualis gem has, of course, gone. And we can induct our troops. So, yes, as you can see, we have 814, and that is meaning it's going to cost 44 prestige from that. So, yes, you can actually do that, of course. But what I was actually thinking of doing was... Wait a minute, what is this? I want to improve the quality. Yes, here we go. I want to improve the quality of the Lemon Knights. I was thinking I might actually like to do that, because look at that. That's actually pretty cheap. It's only 10,000 gold and 30 prestige. That's literally nothing. And we'll raise the strength and agility by 2 each and increase all weapon proficiencies by 10. Now, of course, the weapon proficiencies is not really very good, but the strength and agility, that is going to make a huge difference. So I think we're going to do it once. There we go. Oh, yes, it increases, as you could see, 20,000 gold. Yeah, we still have enough to actually do that if I wanted to, but right now we're not going to be doing that. Thank you very much. So, yeah, these guys are now, of course, going to be spawning here, or at least passively spawning, I hope. And, of course, we also have Poinsbrook spawning things, Avendor is spawning, and Laria, I believe, is also spawning some Rangers of the Clarion Call. Am I correct about that? I actually might not be, but, well, I do believe there is actually a knighthood order there, so that's pretty good. Now, I am going to head on over to Laria, because, well, I do want to head down to Sez as fast as I can. Oh, I love the addition of the spotting skill. I mean, having 10 spotting is just amazing. I mean, I wouldn't level it up, personally. I wouldn't level it up, but it is very, very nice to have, and it does help you a great deal in avoiding conflict whenever you don't want to. Also, I must report that Agathon Legatus, none other than him, was taken prisoner by some of our tea time troublemakers. So I gotta say that's actually a pretty big win, because Agathon does have those Iron Circle Centurions. I'm pretty sure he's the fellow that is fielding those guys. Yes, so that's pretty cool. Now, let's go into... No, I was gonna say let's go into the garrison and put the prisoners there, but I was hoping that I could find maybe... Yes, here we go. I want to sell all of my prisoners. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Okay, so that is absolutely fine. Now, this guy, of course, is just to give us some lore background there. And what else can we do? Well, we have a pilgrim here who is going to be very, very useful. He is going to be the best that he can be in the upcoming fight, of course. And here are our Lemon Knights. So we have 30 strength, 24 agility, and, well, the proficiencies are fantastic. So I don't think I can really do that much better. Of course, the only thing I can do that would be is just improving them once again, and that's pretty much it. So, yeah. Also, I did not receive an achievement for defeating the Dread Legion, which I actually thought we would, but I suppose it is just reserved for the Heretic armies and the Snake Cult armies, because they actually don't have a unique spawn. So, yeah, I don't think there are achievements actually associated with killing the unique spawns, which is kind of a shame, I gotta say. I was actually hoping for that, but, well, what can you do? And, yes, who's that? Ithel Randir. He's running around with 462. Oh, yes, he is quite the dangerous fellow, isn't he? Oh, Poinsbrook is under attack by a Jatu army. That is actually kind of annoying. I think I'm actually going to have to go back and do that, so I'm going to cut away on the travel time, and I'll see you there. Alright, so I've arrived at Poinsbrook, and I'm not particularly happy about it. I am not particularly happy, because I would have liked to... Oh my, this is not good. Yeah, as you can see, the Jatu army has 931. Now, I know that they can't possibly capture the town itself, but I really didn't want them to weaken the garrison so severely that any Empire vassal would be able to run up here and take it instantly. So that's basically the reason why I didn't want them to do that, but also the fact that, well, I can't just allow them to attack without any opposition whatsoever. So we're going to have to join the battle here. This is where I really wish I had a crossbow or something like that. Yeah, I really wish I had a crossbow now, but yeah, hopefully these guys are going to be absolutely awful. As we know, they are not the best when it comes to not fighting on horses. I'd actually like to deal some damage, though. Thank you very much. Yes, thank you very much. Beartild the Tea-bringer. Yes. Come on now, we must bring tea to them. They don't have that letter in their alphabet. Fantastic. Yes. I mean, how are they supposed to have throws and various other things like tragedy and... Yes, I don't think we actually want tragedy, though, do we? Because it has a T in it, obviously, but... Fantastic. Okay. Well, we're going to have to make sure that we are right at the front here, because I've used all my ranged weapons. So, let's see what we can do. This is going to be probably one of the longest sieges we have ever had before, so I may cut out a couple of the rounds, but most of the time this is going to be very, very intense and sort of, well, risky, because you never know what's going to happen. Of course, all of the Jatu have some incredible... Well, see, that's the thing. They do have some pretty good armor, but their weapons are actually not suited to sieges, which I gotta say is fantastic. I mean, really. You really want that to happen. Anytime you're fighting someone, you want them to have the worst weapon ever. Or at least that is my opinion anyway. I mean, if I wanted to fight someone with a good weapon, then, well, obviously, I'd be fighting the heretics all the time and things like that, because those demonic Magnus units are just... Oh, they are just absolutely fiendish, beastly units that can actually destroy anyone in... Well, even 1 versus 5 combat. I mean, literally, those demonic Magnus units are just insane. And I would love, as I was talking in the previous episode about, to be able to join those kinds of armies. I mean, that would be really interesting in my opinion. But yeah, obviously, that would need a whole bunch of work and dedication to that, and that would be rather difficult. But yes, having a couple of different stories as well, I think that would be kind of nice. So we would be able to, oh, you were raised by the heretics as a young man or young boy, and or girl even, and you were then transformed into some sort of demonic Magnus, and now you rule an army, and you go around and try and capture things, or you invade a particular foreign land, and you decide, hey, you know what, I'm going to try and take some of your stuff. Yes, going to take some of your stuff. And... that's exactly what I mean. I mean, that kind of thing would be really cool, in my opinion. And I think they actually did do some of that in Light and Darkness and in Blood and Steel. Now, I know those two really I know I talk about... Well, I don't actually talk. That's the thing. I don't actually talk about Light and Darkness that much, but I do comment about it quite often. And I actually say that it is probably my #1 mod ever, because I really, really enjoyed playing that. But Blood and Steel also then introduced a huge amount of really extravagant stats. And I'm saying that while playing Prophecy of Pendor, so you can imagine that really Blood and Steel really just pushed for more advancement in that area. And, well, I mean, if you play the Barbarian, you know what I'm talking about, because it literally had, I think it was, what was it, 64 strength and 64 agility? Wasn't it something like that? I have no idea, but, you know, it was 63, I think. Yeah, it was 63 each, but the point is, anyway, that is just insane. Really, really insane. But, of course, you started with incredibly light armor, you were able to run really fast, and then as you progress through Blood and Steel, you would have these things called Alephs, and they would be able to bombard the enemy from literally across the map. I mean, they would basically be Noldor 2.0. I mean, if you haven't seen my Blood and Steel series, then I highly recommend going and checking it out, even if it is for a couple of episodes, because it is, in my opinion, very, very entertaining. But, I mean, obviously, I'm biased because I made it, but, you know, it's actually kind of cool to see those kinds of things actually implemented in the game, because you don't actually think, hey, you know what, I'd like to get some artillery equipment in here, but they are technically artillery. And yeah, I do have to agree, though, that in the early versions of Blood and Steel, the Alephs were very, very, and I'm talking very in capital letters, being absolutely stressed here, very overpowered. And they would literally be able to kill an entire town full of units in a matter of a minute or so. So yes, yeah, you can kind of imagine that that's exactly the reason why Blood and Steel is actually pretty cool. And then halfway through, I think, after, what was it, 50 days? I think it was after 50 days or 100 days or something along those lines. It's been a while since I played, obviously. Then an undead army would actually invade the land of Calradia, and you would have to do battle against it, and it would actually be able to capture castles and towns, if you can believe it. So that's actually pretty cool. But as time went on and an update came through for Blood and Steel, it didn't kind of ruin the gameplay experience, but it did make Alephs a lot worse. And even though they were incredibly overpowered before, they made them slightly weird in the way that they worked, because whenever you would recruit one, you would have to pay like 100,000 in money just to recruit one for one battle or something, or every single time you went into battle with an Aleph, you would have to pay 100,000. So I guess it's just because they found that too many people were using them, because, I mean, literally in the previous version I had, what was it? I think I had 10 or 11 Alephs at once, and you can imagine them all spawning in at once and just being like, boom. Yeah, your frame rate would actually go down to 2, but everyone in the garrison would die, so yeah, you wouldn't really worry about that, but still, yeah, so in the latest version, obviously, that did have a problem, and I did actually have to upgrade because something, in my game at least, went wrong with the undead armies, and they were unable to progress. So they took all of the Saranid territories, and then they just stopped. And I was kind of a bit disappointed by that, because I really wanted them to actually, well, progress further, and I thought to myself, ooh, maybe I can join them, or something along those lines. But no, I don't think you could, but there is always that possibility, isn't there? So it would have been actually absolutely fantastic if you could do that. But obviously, in Light and Darkness, I'm talking exactly the same thing here. You can actually join the evil forces that invade. And that's kind of the same thing that I would have liked to have seen here, but, well, that's just how it is, that's just how it is. So, yes, I mean, you are trying to unite Pendor, you're not trying to destroy it, so I suppose it does make sense in terms of the story. But look at that. We kind of destroyed those guys, didn't we? I mean, we were throwing our teacups at them, and they were just like, no, we can't. We don't know how to say the E-cups because they don't have T's in their alphabet. Yeah, okay, terrible, but yes. Ooh! Are they going to run? Are you running? And now Laria is under siege. Of course it is. Hello there. Okay, so these guys have Jatu Raiders, and they have no Lancers whatsoever. They have 2,472. So, I think maybe... No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to wait here for some time, thank you very much. But I would very much like to... see, that's the thing. I would love to be able to get a vassal here, but I think I'm going to have to go into my castle and maybe get a free company or something along those lines. So let's have a look here. A mercenary company. And what are we going to get? Vekavian Renegades, Unicorn Knights? Are Unicorn Knights any good? Marlians... oh, well, I have no idea. I think the Vekavians are actually pretty cool, so I'm going to go with them. I'm actually unsure, though. So, let's see if we can actually get into a fight with these guys. Come on, follow me, mercenary company. Thank you. Yes, prepare to fight, prepare to die. All you fools can think of is death and dismemberment. Does no one in Pendor ever consider compromise or a parley? Oh no, we're not pirates, thank you. But, oh, we might be. Oh, who knows? But, yes, let's have a look here. These guys are probably going to destroy us on this battlefield, so if they do, I'm just going to retreat reasonably quickly, and then we're just going to head on to Laria because, well, I don't really want to waste my time too much. I'd like to be able to have the most efficiency that we can get right now, because if we don't, then obviously, well, I feel like that's kind of disappointing. But let's have a look and actually see what happens here, because of course they are just going to charge in. I mean, they have Jatu Raiders. What can you expect? We're going to get our archers back here. Hopefully they won't get killed too easily, but I'm not really holding out too much hope. So, come on. No, I was really hoping that I'd be able to actually just eliminate this guy in one slash. Really, tree? Come on now, tree. I mean, can you not just be a and just be half a tree? Because, really? Okay, well, whatever. I actually did hit the guy at least once, but... yes, well, never mind. Ooh, this appears to be a huge amount of Ravenstern units. What's actually going on here? I suppose they just rescued them or something along those lines, but... wow, that's actually pretty impressive, because we haven't fought Ravenstern for a long, long time, so maybe one of the Ravenstern vassals, or maybe one of the defectors, was walking through Jatu lands and was like, oh, I'm going to be rather clever here, and I'm going to go round the back and try and attack the tea time troublemakers that way. But no, I think that's a pretty bad idea, don't you? Because now this is what happens. This is what happens. Yes, how dare you try to be underhanded. That is my job. Yes. And maybe overhanded as well. And left-handed. Yes, exactly. But otherwise, I think we're actually okay. I mean, as you can see, I mean, literally, we are destroying them. And it's kind of amusing because I didn't actually think they would be this easy, but obviously their main bulk is usually thanks to the, what is it? Thanks to the Lancers and the Battle Riders. Yeah, the Battle Riders are absolutely destructive. They would just absolutely murder everyone in their path. But thankfully, they don't seem to have any of those, so we're actually fine. And they do have a couple of Seer favorites as well, which is kind of amusing. So they must have done battle with someone that had defeated or at least attacked maybe a heretic patrol of some sort. But look at that, that was utterly devastating, wasn't it? I mean, really, absolutely devastating, and they are basically all dead. Yeah, there we go. Apart from 19 units, of course, 27, yes. Wow, 432 remaining. So, yes, with that, I am going to be completing these rounds in the next episode. But for now, I'm going to be ending it off here, and we're going to be heading on to Laria after that and defending it. And then, finally, we might be able to actually take Sez. Wouldn't that be an amazing thing to do? Yeah, I would love to, because Shadow Legion is, of course, there. And it would be rather nice to make all of those Empire Knights into Shadow Legion Centurions. Can you imagine? I don't even know. Can we even do that? Well, I suppose we'll find out if we can in the next episode. So I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.